Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to our MGA Foundation Virtual Caddie Academy. Over the next 20 minutes, we will be providing you with the basics of caddying, the benefits it brings, and how to get started. In addition, we want to make sure you are ready for the first time you step out on the course as a caddy for your first loop. Before we do that, we're going to take a brief look at what the MGA and MGA Foundation are and the role of these organizations in caddying in the Met area. The MGA has been dedicated to promoting, protecting, and preserving the game of golf in the metropolitan area since 1897. It provides over 140,000 MGA members with a variety of services, including handicapping services, first-class championships, and more. The MGA also offers extensive coverage of all its events through website and social media coverage. The MGA's award-winning publication, the Met Golfer magazine, showcases golf stories from the Met area and beyond. Founded in 1991, the MGA Foundation is the charitable arm of the MGA and has impacted thousands of young people throughout the Met area by providing access to developmental programs both on and off the golf course. The MGA Foundation initiatives include the GolfWorks Student Intern Program, junior competitions and youth golf access, caddy initiatives including annual caddy academies, and support of local and national programs to fulfill the mission to help preserve the game's past and protect its future. As mentioned before, today we will be covering the basics of getting started as a caddy. If you would like more information, visit our website at mgagolf.org/caddycorner. That's mgagolf.org/CADDIECORNER. To start, you can define a caddy as one who assists the player in accordance with the rules of golf. This includes carrying a player's bag, reading greens, helping with yardages, and much more. As a first-time caddy, there are many benefits to know about. A few are listed here, but a steady summer income, ability to build connections with successful people, and eligibility for scholarships are a few of the highlights to becoming a caddy. For the rest of the presentation, I will now turn it over to Manager of Operations at the MGA Foundation and also the head of our caddying efforts, Kyle Keckison.
One of the most important aspects of being a young caddy in the metropolitan area is the opportunity to apply for caddy scholarships. These scholarships give young caddies the chance to help offset, or in some cases completely cover, the cost of college. There are certain requirements that caddies must fulfill in order to be eligible, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. There are 3 local caddy scholarships that cover the entirety of the metropolitan area. The Long Island Caddy Scholarship Fund covers youth caddies living and working at clubs on Long Island. The Westchester Golf Association Caddy Scholarship is available to youth caddies working at participating clubs and courses in the Fairfield, Bronx, Dutchess, Orange, Putnam, Rockland, Sullivan, Ulster, and Westchester counties. And finally, the New Jersey State Golf Association Caddy Scholarship Fund covers youth caddies working and living in New Jersey. It's important to understand that both the Long Island Caddy Scholarship Fund and the Westchester Caddy Scholarship Fund are run and administered through the Metropolitan Golf Association Foundation, while the New Jersey State Golf Association Caddy Scholarship Fund is run and administered through the New Jersey State Golf Association. Please visit njsga.org to find out more information about New Jersey State Golf Association's Caddy Scholarship Funds. As mentioned earlier, there are requirements that youth caddies must fulfill before applying to these scholarships. For the Long Island and Westchester Caddy Scholarships, youth caddies must have at least 2 years of service to golf. In this case, service to golf includes caddying, working in the golf shop, the bag room, on the practice range, or on the golf course superintendent's crew. Caddies must also have the recommendation from the club. There are 2 other opportunities that are available to youth caddies in the metropolitan area. The first is the Evans Scholarship. This scholarship is awarded through the Western Golf Association based in Chicago. It is a significant award covering 100% of tuition and room and board costs at 21 schools throughout the country. The Evans Scholarship works with the local caddy scholarship funds to help provide this opportunity. The last opportunity is the J. Mottola Scholarship. This scholarship was created to celebrate the longtime MGA Executive Director, as well as his contributions in support of the game on all levels. Similar to the Evans Scholarship, the J. Mottola Scholarship is a significant scholarship available for 4 years of undergraduate study. In collaboration with the local CSF, the MGAF, and JMS committee will identify and invite top candidates to submit an essay. As a new caddy, it is important to have an understanding of the basics. In this section, we will talk about how you can hit the ground running at your club. First, it is important to understand the dress code. At most clubs, you will be provided a caddy bib that has the club's logo. You will also most likely be provided with a hat and a caddy towel. This is your uniform, and you need to make sure that you are taking good care of it throughout the season. That means making sure that you wash your caddy bib and towel regularly and making sure they are in good condition throughout the season. As part of your uniform, you will most likely be asked to wear a white golf shirt and khaki pants or shorts. It's also important that you're showing up to work with these items of clothing and making sure that you are looking presentable. You will most likely struggle to get loops if you're not putting in the work to look the part. As a caddy, you are going to be spending a great deal of time outside. I think most of us understand how quickly the weather can change in this area during the summer months, so it's extremely important that you're coming to the golf course prepared for the weather each day. I can speak from personal experience that it is a nightmare to be carrying 2 golf bags with wet shoes and socks because I didn't check the weather the night before. Having extra socks, golf shirts, shoes, an umbrella, and a rain suit can go a long way in making sure that you're comfortable throughout the round. You may have noticed that I've spent this section talking about being prepared for different situations and to make sure that you have a backup plan in case the weather turns ugly. Well, this is no different when getting your round started. Coming to the starting tee prepared will set you up for a great round and help to provide your player with a great experience for the day. At most clubs, a player's bag will be stored in the bag room, and when that player arrives at the course, their clubs will be brought to the tee by a member of the outside operations staff. From there, it is your responsibility to make sure that set of clubs returns to the bag room safely at the end of the round. Before getting to the first tee, it's important that you remember to do these several things. Number 1, you want to make sure to wet your caddy towel. Remember, we're not returning clubs to players that are dirty. Number 2, make sure to grab extra scorecards, ball marks, divot tools, and tees from the starter shed. I can't tell you how many times I've been with a group who forgot a scorecard walking down the first fairway, and because I was prepared, I was able to save them a few extra minutes of rushing back and forth. Doing this allows for a great first impression and makes you look like a pro. And number 3, counting the players' clubs before they tee off. Players are allowed to have up to 14 clubs in their bag. If a player has just been to the driving range prior to tee off, they may have left a club at the range and didn't even realize it. By notifying the player that their 7-iron was missing, it will allow you to get ahead of an awkward situation on the golf course. And finally, number 4, please make sure that you are keeping track of the player's head covers. Golfers are usually very protective of their head covers, especially if they're from prestigious clubs throughout the country. Make sure that if the player has head covers on their driver, 3-wood, hybrid, and putter, that those same 4 head covers are back on the clubs at the end of the round. Losing a head cover is a really easy way to turn a great loop into a mediocre one. The Caddie Manager is the person that you will be reporting to on a day-to-day basis. The Caddie Manager's responsibility is to take care of and work with the membership at the club to provide them with the best possible experience that they can have. Your role as a caddy is to help in providing that experience. Caddie managers are going to be relying on you to show up when they ask and be ready to work. Most clubs have a set time for their caddies to arrive at the club. There is not a set time that all clubs ask their caddies to be in by, but it's usually anywhere between 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. As a new caddy, it's critical that you are showing up on time and ready to work from day one. If you are late or miss days, you'll have a hard time getting loops. Being consistent and working hard will get you out on the course quickly. One of the most common questions that we get asked by new caddies is about taking vacation time. Working in the golf industry typically means that holidays are busy times, but that doesn't mean that you can't ask for a couple of days off. It is important that you let the Caddie Manager know if you have a family trip or camp planned for the summer as early as possible so that they can plan around your absence. The Caddie Manager is also the liaison between the membership and you, the caddy. The Caddie Manager will be responsible for assigning caddies to loops and helping to make sure that groups are getting onto the golf course on time. While we hope that there are never disagreements or issues on the golf course between a caddy and their players, it can happen from time to time. The Caddie Manager is the person that you will go to if this happens. There is never a time where you will confront the member on the golf course. Explain the situation to the Caddie Manager, and he will work with the member to resolve the situation. We've gone through a lot of information about how to be successful as a caddy, but we think it's important to understand the first steps of becoming a caddy. These are ways that you can prepare to be a caddy before you are even on the first tee. Number 1, it's important to understand the language of golf. If you are not a golfer or familiar with golf, it can be difficult to understand some of the language that's being used. Knowing what a birdie, par, and a bogey are is important. Understanding the difference between a sand wedge and a 7-iron and why the 7-iron goes further is important. For those of you brand new to the game, the language of golf is something that you can research to better understand your surroundings. Number 2, knowing where you want to caddy is important. It was mentioned in a previous slide that caddies are required to arrive at the club early in the morning. Finding a club close to home is always valuable. You need to do your research to find clubs with caddy programs close to you. There are also resources on mgagolf.org/becomeacaddy to help you locate a club. And finally, and we cannot stress this enough, you are going to have to contact the Caddie Manager yourself. If mom or dad is making that introductory phone call to the club to see if there's availability for caddies, there's a very good chance that you will not be getting that job. For many of you, this may be your first job. It's important for you to take responsibility and make that first call. Caddie managers want to see that you are committed to taking on the task. If there's one takeaway from this section, it's that you should be reaching out to caddie managers yourself. There are a number of ways that you can establish yourself as a reliable caddy right from the get-go. The first thing that you can do is to learn all 14 clubs in the golf bag and how each one is used. Number 2 is understanding how to track the golf ball in the air when you're on the golf course. This might sound easy, but in practice, it does take some time to train your eyes to follow the golf ball. There are very few people who hit the ball straight. Most of the time, you'll find that golfers hit shots that move left to right, it's called a fade, or right to left, a draw. Understanding how each player hits the ball will help you to locate your players' golf balls. Number 3 is taking care of the golf course by replacing divots, raking bunkers, and fixing ball marks. This is one of the most important things that you can do as a caddy when you start. If superintendents, caddy managers, or members at the club notice you not taking care of the golf course, you will certainly get less loops. Number 4, always hustle. As a caddy, you're responsible for helping the group keep a good pace of play. Golf typically takes too long to play, and you can help speed things up. One thing you always need to make sure that you're doing is to stay in front of your golfer at all times. If you're lagging behind for some reason, make sure that you're jogging to keep up with the group. Number 5 is understanding where all of the players' golf balls are, especially on the green. Making sure that you're not standing in the line of any player's putt is extremely important. Number 1, it's good etiquette, and number 2, you can leave spike marks in the green and damage the line of the putt. You should also remember that players will typically mark their golf balls with a ball marker, so you won't see where their golf balls are on the green. Number 6 is learning the golf course that you're going to be working at. This is going to help you provide better advice to your golfer. This means understanding how the greens break. You won't be asked to read greens right from the start of your first loop, but after a few times on the golf course, you should know how most putts on each green break. Number 7 is making sure that you're handling your golfers' clubs with care. We have seen it many times where a caddy will be waiting for their player in the fairway and they will be swinging a putter or an iron. You can easily damage those clubs or the player's bag if you're not paying attention. They are also not your clubs to be fidgeting with. Golfers pay a lot of money for their clubs, and you should treat them with respect. Number 8, it's always a good general rule to never pick up any golf ball while it's in play. If you cannot identify your player's ball, you should call your player over to identify it. There are procedures in place for the player to identify the ball, but not for the caddy. The last thing that you want to do is be the reason that your player is receiving penalty strokes. Number 9, the only way that you're going to learn as a caddy is by working with more experienced caddies. Teamwork is crucial for caddies as they start, but it also provides a better experience for the players on the course that day. If you don't know how a particular green or putt breaks, then ask someone who has more experience than you do. Most experienced caddies are always happy to help provide insight for someone learning. Number 10, finishing the round. Once you have finished the round, always make sure to thank the players in your group. Make sure that you ask your golfers where they would like their bag. Most time the player will say that they are leaving them at the club, but in some cases they might want to take them home. Make sure that they are placed in the proper location. Before you are done with your loop, make sure that you spend some time cleaning the players' golf clubs. As we have talked about before, your golfers' clubs shouldn't be dirty because you've been cleaning them throughout the round, but this is a chance to do a more detailed job. Finishing the round properly is a very important part of your caddy responsibilities.
Thank you, Kyle. And thank you all for tuning in. We hope this presentation helped explain the basics of caddying and gave you a solid understanding of what you need to get started. For anyone interested in learning more, please visit our website listed on the screen. You can also email Kyle Kekison or Lou Catolo for more information.